Hello, everyone.
Hold on, you need a few minutes. You're not yet live. A few
Okay,
seconds. Okay, good to go.
here we go.
Yeah.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to this is the Green Fingers Wildlife Sanctuary, and in this sanctuary, we do keep quite a range of different animals that have been rescued from the wildlife trade, and these animals have been given a second home, a shelter within the sanctuary here, and we're able to cater for these animals, educate the public about these animals, and give these animals all that they basically require. Now, most of these animals are able to go back to the wild, to protected spaces, while some of them, because of the unique nature of some of the injuries which they may have sustained, or some of the challenges which basically they've seen, they cannot go back again into the wild. So they are kept here and provided a forever home, which where they can actually be okay and thrive. Now, today we'll be talking about um, a wonderful species, one of which is actually endangered here, I mean, all around the world, and here, especially in Nigeria. And I'm talking of no other species, but one of the most unique species. It's the only scaled mammal, and I'm talking of nothing but a pangolin. Now, this is the white-bellied pangolin, otherwise known as Patagonus tricuspis. That's the scientific name. Now, this animal is an endangered species and can be found here in Nigeria. Now, there are different types and different species of pangolins. There are about 8 species of pangolins, some of which are critically endangered. For example, we have the giant pangolin, the Philippine pangolin. Some of those ones are critically endangered. Um, Pangolins like this one, which is the white-bellied pangolin, is actually endangered. Then you have other ones that are actually vulnerable, which include the Temminck's pangolin, which is um, the pangolin. Now, pangolin actually is found here in Nigeria, like I said, and it's also known as the tree pangolin. Now, or the white-bellied pangolin. Now, the reason we call it the white-bellied pangolin is because of the white marks. I'm just going to show you in a minute. Um, if you look at the belly, okay, if you look at the belly, you see white-bellied. There is another one which is called the black-bellied pangolin. Now, you can imagine what color the belly basically is going to be. It's actually black. So that's how we can differentiate this one from the other one. Now, we're going to learn a few things about the pangolin. Now, this is a baby, still a young, well, it's a juvenile pangolin, and we've been catering for this one. So most of these pangolins, how do they end up in these spaces, like in our sanctuary, for example? Now, most of the parents are being hunted for food. The parents are killed, then the younger ones are being, so they're left not without anyone to cater for them. So sometimes they end up in traditional markets, but as much as possible, we try as much as possible to take care of them, to rescue them, and take care of them until they reach a suitable age where we can actually introduce them back into the wild. Now, oh, there's somebody behind me. Now, this pangolin has basically been within our care for quite a while, quite a few months now, and we've been monitoring his feeding, and we ensure that basically he gets the best of all he requires. Now, feeding, what do pangolins eat? Pangolins basically feed on ants and termites. That constitute mostly their diet here, and they are able to raid nests of termites and ants, and also enjoy feeding on the larvae and on the eggs of these termites and ants. Now, pangolins in Nigeria and all across the world face a lot of threats. Here in Nigeria, there's a loss of habitat, so their habitats are the trees are being cut down, the forests are being depleted, and there's a huge demand for their scales. There's a huge demand for their food, for their meat body as food, and that is one of the reasons why the numbers of pangolins, especially here in Nigeria or in Africa, is declining rapidly. And there's quite a lot we have to do as people to ensure that these species or this species is not extinct within from the ecosystem. Now, people always wonder why are pangolins important? After all they basically feed on is termites and ants. Now, we always pose this kind of question back to understanding the importance of this species within the ecosystem. Termites and ants basically have a huge effect, a devastating effect on farmers, on farm produce, on on crops. Now, what normally happens is that the pangolins normally they control population, termite population, or termite growth and population. But when left unchecked, these termites pose a problem to farmers, and farmers end up using chemicals to apply to the food stuff or to product. And what happens next? Okay, there we go. Okay, so that those farmers end up using chemicals, and those chemicals get into the food. We consume those chemicals, and it poses a lot of problems, health challenges for us as individuals. Now, let's look at a bit of the structure of pangolins. Now, this pangolin is called the Cartilaginous tricuspis. Now, the tricuspis is as a result. If we look closely at the scales, you have three cusps. Okay, three cusps, and that is where it got the tricuspis from. Now, we also need to understand that in order for pangolin to be well adapted to their ecosystem and to their environment, they need to possess exactly good features. Now, let's look at the males. Now, these claws here are very sharp and very strong. Okay, before you can see the tongue also. Pangolins have a very long, sticky tongue, which they use to put into the termites, and mount and able to lap up the termites. Now, those claws are very sharp and strong and used for digging. Now, what we can also see is that they have a prehensile tail, which they use to hang, especially on branches, as you can see it hanging here on my hands there. So that's those are some of the features the pangolins use to defend themselves. And also, if you were to look at the closer view, you see that these shells cover absolutely every part of the body, and it protects them. It gives them a form of protection. So when a predator comes along, they roll into a ball, and this shell, which basically are these scales, which basically are like your fingernails, give some form of protection and protects the pangolin from being harmed by any other species or by any other um, organism that would like to harm it. Now, pangolins in the wild, especially the white belly pangolins, they only produce, especially the pangolins in Africa, they produce one offspring per day. We have the Philippine or the Chinese pangolin, which can produce up to three pups. Now, young baby pangolins are called pups. The gestation period lasts between 70 to 140 days. Now, these pangolins, once they give birth, The baby pangolin is so small, and the scales are white, transparent, and very light. But the baby stays, the pup stays glued to the mother, and the mother protects it, shields him, covers him, so that he basically hardens the shell, the scales harden a bit before the pangolin is able to go back. Come out and basically explore the world. But normally, pangolins will not be allowed to leave their mothers. They stay attached to the mother's tail, so they go on like piggyback rides throughout. This guy is basically getting busy here in my hair there. So the pangolins stay attached to the mother's tail, and when the mother rolls up, also she protects the pup within her. So he is not the pup is not actually exposed. So and that gives them and that they are very well protected that way. Now, in Nigeria here, especially in Nigeria, most of the people who um, go after these pangolins use the adults for whatsoever food, and sometimes the young ones, also end up to be used in other forms of medicine or traditional medicine and voodoo, basically. So these are the things. As much as possible, we try to tell people to understand the role pangolins play. And we might be far apart, we might be far in different parts of the world, because from studies, pangolins are found in Africa and Asia. These are the two major countries that they can be found. Now, and they are uniquely endemic, and they are uniquely important in these places and in these areas where they can be found. And it's important that we must do everything we can to protect them. Imagine one pup a year, and at the rate at which they are being depleted. The news lately has covered thousands and thousands of pangolin scales, because thousands of tons of pangolin scale, which actually amounts to thousands of pangolins being lost. Now we must do all we can to protect these gentle giants, or these gentle dinosaurs, because they are important in the ecosystem and they must be protected at all costs. Now, apart from how people always wonder, how can we, as much as possible, we share awareness, we raise awareness, we talk about it. Young people a lot of people have never known that there is an animal, there is a mammal with scales. And the more we raise awareness about it, a lot of cartoons these days don't really have pangolin featuring in them. So the more awareness we raise for these species, the more we are able to protect them as much as we can. As much as we can. So I hope we've been able to at least cover quite a bit about pangolins. Now, for these young ones that are within the sanctuary, we do feed them with supplements. So we have this milk supplements which we give them. Also, we also have, as much as possible, take them out on forest walks where the pangolin will forage for himself or for herself for quite some time, getting used to the environment. But because they become so attached to people, so he's basically using his tongue to basically lick every area of me, trying to get him out of there, but he seems to be very, very attached to me right now. Okay, so pangolins do have a very unique habit of sorry, just give me this. Let me get him out of there. Okay, so that's it. So some of the things, other things which pangolins also, they are very, very prone to ectoparasites. So things like ticks, those are some of the things that pose threats to pangolins. Now, the bigger pangolins don't face much threat because they have thick thick scales which actually protect them. But these smaller ones, it will take any predator quite some time to get through. Now, we always say pangolins have what we call a fifth limb. Now, that's the tip of the tail. Now, the tip of the tail is not covered it's not covered with the scale. It has this soft skin-like material just here, which we feel the pangolin uses to feel its environment. So when it climbs trees, it's able to feel what basically is on those trees, and that's how we are able to, and that's how they are able to communicate with their environment and communicate with the ecosystem. So he's basically busy licking every part of me, and with his sharp nail, he's basically trying to dig in there. So it's always very careful. We always have to be very careful when handling them because with their sharp claws, they can actually do some slight damage. I must say, um, not very much. So they are quite wonderful creatures. They're quite. They also look very prehistoric. Um, and for being the only animal or mammal with scales, it's quite easy to tell a male a male pangolin apart from a female. Now the males, if you look at their genitalia are um, it's quite obvious here, so you can tell clearly the gender of this one. Okay, and because it's still a young one though, this is a boy. Okay, and you can easily tell with the adult females have their nipples quite prominent at the front here. But that's some of the things we need to learn about the pangolin. And thank you all for tuning in. Next time we will talk more about the pangolin. We'll talk about more of the things that the pangolin faces, the threat the pangolins face, and how we all can also be um, of help to saving this wonderful species, unique and wonderful species. Now, our work here, we cannot do our work without your support. Now, you can help share this video as much as you can to support our work. There's a link in the description that also contains, there's a link there that connects you to a place where you can donate to support our work here in Nigeria. We are doing all we can to support the pangolin population with our rescue, rehabilitation, and release projects going on. And anything you can donate will help us continue our work, not just with the pangolin, but with many other species, which we will be talking about sometime. As time goes on. It was lovely meeting you. My name is Chinedu Mogbo from the Great Fingers Wildlife Conservation Initiative here in Nigeria. Thank you very much. Bye bye now. Say bye bye. Come on.
Chiredu, you
Now
can
you
end
my
the
shirt.
stream.
Come on. Say bye. Say bye to the audience. Come on. Come on. Say bye to them. Say bye to them. Okay. Yep. All right then. Thank you, everyone. Thanks for tuning in. We hope you enjoyed his little show because he was basically the star of the show. I was just doing the talking. And thank you very much. And it's good on me. Oh yes. Thank you.